Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Bree to like musical theater. And how are we doing, you two? We're in 2023. We did it.
We made it. 2023.
What are your New Year's resolutions for this show? I think I asked that, but specifically for this show.
Specifically for the show. I want us to cover more fun musicals that are enjoyable to watch and not bad.
Oh, that's a good one. Bree, what about you?
Why are you doing this to me?
We can skip you if you want.
For this show? Like for the show we're talking about?
No, I was just saying it for Musicals with Cheese, the show we're on.
Oh, well, I hope that for you both, it is a very fun and exciting year. And I hope that you talk about some of the best musicals you've ever seen.
Me too.
God, I hope so.
I just hope I don't die by the end of this year because I've had it pretty rough. My school headmistress literally just grabbed me by my pigtails today and swung me out of the entire schoolyard into a bush.
You're shitting me.
You have pigtails?
Not on my head.
You're not supposed to wear pigtails in school.
It wasn't on my head. It was
she hates that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so distracted imagining I just had like the furry tail, but it's a pig tail.
Oh, God.
I just figured you had so much back hair that you could make it into pigtails.
Oh, my gosh. I wish. But my
right
head...
off your shoulders.
It's like reverse Dorothy Gale right off my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the literal like they're like reins for me. If you hop on my back and pull my back hair pigtails, we can go riding.
But Jess, didn't we already talk about this?
Yeah, but they made a movie, Andrew.
Oh shit, they made a movie.
This week we are talking about Matilda the musical. Cue the music break.
Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, you might as well be saying you think that it's okay, and that's not right. And if it's not right, you have to put it right. But nobody else is gonna put it right for me. Nobody but me is gonna change my story. Sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty.
Matilda the Musical, the movie, is a movie written by Dennis Kelly with music and lyrics by Tim Minchin, based on the musical Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical, based on the book Roald Dahl's Matilda. Matilda the Musical, the movie, had its world premiere at the BFI London Film Festival on the 5th of October of 2022. It was released in the United Kingdom by Sony Pictures, releasing through TriStar Pictures banner on November 25th, 2022. So the UK got this in theaters. We did not. There was no way for us to watch it. Some of our patrons saw it early. The film received a theatrical release in the United States and internationally on December 9th, 2022, before streaming on Netflix Christmas Day 2022. So the plot of Matilda is an extraordinary young girl discovers her superpowers and summons the remarkable courage against all odds to help others change their stories, whilst also taking charge of her own destiny. Standing up for what's right, she's met with miraculous results. So, we did talk about this show on the podcast a few years ago. Do you remember who was on that show with us, Andrew?
This was with Brent Black, was it not?
Yes, our favorite Brent Black. We need to have him back on. It's been over a year.
It's been too long.
There have been he's almost been on a couple times, just scheduling. He's got a musical he's trying to get out there right now, so
we have to do an episode on that and get him on.
Oh yeah, we have to go to New York and see it.
Yes.
But Matilda. So can I tell you? I technically signed an NDA for this, but I think now that the movie's out, it doesn't really matter. I saw the first 20 minutes of this film like almost a year ago.
Oh shit! So you already knew it was gonna suck.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's not my opinion.
Well, my opinion on the first 20 minutes and even rewatching it, I think it's really bad. The first 20 or so minutes are really rushed and confused and nauseatingly yellow.
I think that there is good stuff and bad stuff in this.
Yes.
And
like
I'm
most
a little
movie
bit,
adaptations.
Yeah, I'm a little mixed on it. I don't think it's terrible though. I don't think they like ruined it or anything like that.
I don't even think it's like the top 3 worst musical adaptations on Netflix.
what Netflix has Shrek, right?
Well, that wasn't made by Netflix. So we've got The Prom, we've got 13, we've got Tick Tick Boom, and I think we've got this. So
you
it
think
made
you
just
think this
Oh, and we've got there's one more.
Netflix has been going ham with the musicals, huh?
They had a deal specifically with Roald Dahl. They own the rights, the exclusive rights to Diana the musical. That was the other one. That was I knew there was like one that we didn't like that would have passed this one.
Oh my god. Honestly, I think this one might be better than at least two of those.
Yeah, I think it would be like if we're making a top 3, I think it's not even the bottom 3. Either way, Netflix has the exclusive rights to Roald Dahl for a while. Like they bought his entire library, and this was kind of what they were starting with because they wanted a Roald Dahl extended universe. At least that's what they were pitching 5 or so years ago when they bought the rights before the pandemic and all that. This story worked on stage, and it felt even on stage, and I don't know what I would be asked to do if I were adapting it to film either. So they got the original director of the stage show to direct the film as well. So he has an imprint on what they would have wanted to do if they had more money, which is how they tried to go about this. Like, what would we want to do on stage if we had the money to do it? Which I think is almost a detriment. A part of the reason why I think a lot of the magical moments on stage just don't transfer here.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about it probably a bit in this episode, but I think the stage one is just better. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember liking it more than I liked this.
Well, let's talk about the good things in the film. What do you have?
All right. I think that the material like still works. I like the story elements still. I like the fantasy sequences quite a bit.
Yeah. And they leaned into them much harder here than they did on the stage.
I think that's just because they could, which I mean that's fair. When you can do it, you can't, it works.
And it's the only really original material from the stage show. Like it wasn't in the books, it wasn't in any other adaptation. This escapologist and his wife, and the acrobat. So it makes sense that they lean into that because that's really what they brought to the table for the musical.
And I like that stuff. It's
it's probably my favorite stuff in the musical, but it's mostly just that, which makes the movie much more a Matilda focused story.
Yeah. I've always liked the villain. Miss Trunchbull is over the top. They do some very silly stuff with how crazy she is in this one, like how evil she is. I mean, Jess already said it, but the pigtail thing. Oh my goodness!
I mean,
the way they pull that off on screen is fantastic.
It is violent and just theatrical enough for it to be against reality.
Yeah. I think overall it's good. It feels like it's missing something, and I don't even know if I could put my finger on it. But the biggest things that I think really work about this film, I think the young lady that plays Matilda, I think her name is Alicia Weir, an Irish actress doing a very good British accent to her credit, and she really is the heart and soul of this movie. She has enough charisma to really sell this part and make you believe that she is both brilliant and a witch. That's true, and I guess I should praise this because I usually am very negative. The child acting in this is not horrendous.
No, I think it's actually one of the better parts of it. Sincerely.
Yeah, and I am very quick to not be lenient on child acting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of the people that's just like, oh, well, they're kids. Okay. Like, no, if child actors suck, I say, you got to say it.
Yeah. You're the one that put Jake Lloyd in the fucking hospital.
No. Okay. Not in that way. You don't bully the kids. My goodness. But yeah.
No, sincerely, this is some of the best like child actors in the world. The problem I have, the kids are playing into the reality, which is where I think it really, really works. The adults feel like they're in a parody of their reality, especially Matilda's parents. And I think tonally that throws it off.
The parents, I feel like, don't fully work.
No.
Maybe they're not given like enough time or they're given too much time. It's like they didn't pick. And they're like, you don't even really understand them because by the end of it, they're like trying to leave and they want to pick up Matilda, but like
the whole time, don't they just want to get rid of Matilda? Like, I don't know.
You see, they make their emotions make less sense in this. And even in the Danny DeVito film, which I don't love, but I think has made some good choices. She, in both the musical and the book and the other film adaptation, she has an older brother. And really, Matilda was an oopsie baby that they didn't want because they were already fulfilled with that son character.
Yes, it's the Harry Potter thing.
Yeah. And here we don't have that character. Matilda is just a only child to parents that didn't want her. And the parents had a lot of songs in the stage musical. Like the dad had a song about the telly. The mom had a song about like being loud and obnoxious and being a salsa dancer and all these things. They had things outside of just being the parents of the lead character there.
Oh, yeah. I honestly, it's been a while since I've seen the stage show, and I kind of forgot about that, but that does make sense. It's like they took stuff away from those characters, but then they still kept them as in the movie, and it's just like, well, now they don't really have anything going on, and they're just not really that interesting.
I won't call it character assassination, but every adult character kind of has a lot of what makes them shades of gray stripped away from them and makes them versatile characters. And they were shot. The actress that played Matilda's mother said that they shot her entire dance sequence of Loud and that they just cut it. And I feel like that's the reason why the opening feels so rushed, is because they had a late idea of how to trim 15 or 20 minutes out of the film by reshooting the intro and just making Miss Honey introduce herself there so that the parents know who she is.
Yeah.
Because that opening scene is just like, it's a mess.
Yeah, there's just a lot missing. And I guess I don't fully know why they would cut what they cut.
I mean, the movie's runtime is still very long. Like for even a movie musical, I think it's like 217.
It's true, but I don't know. There's other stuff that I feel like they could have trimmed. I mean, the song where the kid has to eat the cake feels like it goes like a really long time.
Oh, but I like that song. I actually really like how they staged that song too.
It's very good, but it's like, you know, movie musicals, don't they usually, not usually, but they have in the past had stuff where they like trim the songs a bit. Yes. They have like shorter versions of songs.
Specifically, I think the movie that does that best is Sweeney Todd, Tim Burton's adaptation, where they'll take a song that's like 8 minutes on stage and cut to 4 minutes and really just focus it in. I'm not against that.
I think that that's fine to do, especially if there's a lot of songs and you need them.
I feel like it's just a very lopsided musical where the focus is solely on Matilda, the story she's telling, and a relationship with Miss Honey. But they also cut a bunch of Mrs. Honey songs, and you can see it in the movie where they just leave the last line of the song, and she somehow teleports from one side of the hallway to the other side.
How long is the original musical?
Like 2 hours 30 minutes plus an intermission.
How long's the movie?
About 2 hours.
So did they just add a bunch of stuff?
No, because it's still
and cut others.
There's nothing really added except for one song at the end, which I think was a good choice because at least then we have a final number.
Yeah, I guess there was a lot. If it was 2.5 hours and they cut it down to 2, they still cut like a half an hour, but it's
worse off for it. And I know we have a children's audience. They probably don't want to sit down for 3 hours unless it's a Harry Potter book for some reason.
I don't blame them for trimming stuff. I'm curious as to why they trimmed it the way they did. And I guess it speaks to how good the stage show is that basically all of it was kind of needed. Like the whole stage show, you kind of needed all of that stuff, and that's why it has the length.
I completely agree with that. So it sounds like we're being super duper negative. What do you think of Emma Thompson as Trunchbull?
I don't know if there's like any controversy or whatever with it not being a man playing Miss Trunchbull. But honestly, I think she did fine.
Yeah, she did fine. There was controversy slightly when the original casting came out, and it was Ralph Fiennes, another Harry Potter alum, as Miss Trunchbull, and then they quietly, after the pandemic and they restarted production, quietly replaced him with Emma Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the casting was fine.
Yeah.
The makeup and everything for Miss Trunchbull is like, I couldn't tell who it was.
Mm-hmm. I think that makeup job is very, very good.
Oh, yeah. I honestly, the only thing I could say about Miss Trunchbull is that I wanted more.
They did not cut a single iota of her from the musical. Thankfully.
It's true, but I still wanted more. I love the character. She's so like over the top. I think I just love the over the top villains, and they like you don't see them that much anymore.
Slim over here.
You don't see them much anymore, though. I feel like these like twist villains and like more subtle villains, or movies where there's no villains at all, have kind of taken over, and it's just like I just want someone to be evil, like really evil.
I love evil people too, but that's not saying Agatha Trunchbull doesn't have shades of gray either. If anything, she's kind of the only one that sort of does, because we see her relationship, her past, and like specifically the escapologist and the acrobat storyline. We really get to color who she is and her value set.
Yes, I would say that the way she treats children puts her firmly in the evil category.
Oh, definitely.
But if you want to say there's shades of gray, I suppose that's one way to phrase it.
So there is a discussion, not just with Trunchbull, but with another character, about plus size actors being not put into plus size roles. So Emma Thompson is a tiny, like, spindly lady, and she's playing this voluptuous, bigger woman.
Yes.
In a fat suit. I think it's more of a muscle suit because she looks muscly more than she does fat. She just got...
It's Miss Trunchbull should not be fat. Miss Trunchbull is a Olympic athlete who takes it very seriously.
She's just strong.
So it is muscle.
Now, that being said, the Bruce boy, the little boy that they put a pillow under his shirt and said he's a fat kid.
Oh my goodness. I think the implication there, though, was that he ate so much that he became like instantly.
He had it beforehand.
Did he?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that. Oh, okay. Well, that's different. I thought it was a visual gag.
No, it was not. He had
it looked so bad that I thought it was a visual gag.
No. It's just the way he looks.
Okay.
And people have brought up that that's kind of like makes bigger people feel like shit. And I get that.
No, I mean,
you're a joke for the fat kid who eat cake.
I kind of wish it was a visual gag. It would have been funny. It's like he was skinny before, and then he eats all the cake, and now he's like a little bigger. I thought that would be kind of funny.
It would be kind of funny. And I think something like that's done in the stage show, but he kind of always is wearing the fat suit in the movie.
I agree with the controversy on this. Strong buff women should play strong buff women,
unless they're a conservative. Gina Carano, I don't want you in my movies no more.
That's not the same as what I'm talking about, though. Obviously, conservatives shouldn't be allowed to do anything.
Yeah. Especially eat at Golden Corral in peace.
I thought Golden Corral went under, honestly.
No.
How does Golden Corral survive a pandemic? You go there and you get sick before the pandemic happened.
It's a waiting game, guys. If we just keep it running, they'll come back and they'll be hungry too.
It's all the same buffet food. They just left it up. They left it out and left it warm.
I've literally never been to a Golden Corral.
Oof. Dang.
Okay,
you're living a better life.
I'm joking
than me,
about it, but honestly, I went to Golden Corral like once or twice, and it wasn't even bad.
I mean, they made it through the pandemic. I assume other people think it's good.
They're local
busy
one closed
on
down
Sunday mornings. It's like the perfect after church, let's go home and get diarrhea kind of thing.
It's that and Denny's. That and Denny's are.
What did you think of the dancing in this movie?
There wasn't that much, was there? I mean, there was the opening number had some good stuff, and by good stuff, I mean it had dancing at all. The dancing near the end was good, like with all the kids in the school. That they had some good stuff there. I don't know that when they had choreographed scenes, they were pretty good, if I remember right.
I have a bone to pick with this movie, just a small one though.
Okay.
The dancing is so good. It's so, these kids know what they're doing. Like, they're obviously trained professionals. Like the part of Revolting Children where the Red Beret girls like doing the thing.
That's
went
the part
viral.
I'm thinking of, and that went viral. But it, like, even in the movie, it was actually really good. That whole part, not even just there was like a one section that went viral, but the whole part there was good.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. That scene feels like where all the energy and planning for what they were filming went into, because then you've got songs like Bruce and what is it, the alphabet song or the school song. I think those are shot very badly. Well, it's obvious the choreography is very good, but they just didn't know where to cut.
Yeah, so the dancing itself was like fine, but the way that they shoot it in it doesn't show up very well.
Yeah,
I
it
think the
doesn't have
alphabet
the
song
energy.
is particularly bad. I picked that one out. I get that they're doing a thing, and I know that they do that in the stage show too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It felt a little bit weird, and I don't know if I would go about it that way.
Yeah, then there's a moment when they're at the gates and all that and kick it, like their hands through the gates, and it just I don't know where my eye is supposed to look. Then you have okay, the most egregious song in this musical, because most of them I actually think are good. Like I think they nailed all of Trunchbull's songs in a way to make it visually interesting and really engaging. Like specifically the Rebellion song, The Smell of Rebellion, where they're crawling through the mud and it's so distressing and so unpleasant. That scene works very well. Scenes that work less well is When I Grow Up, which is probably one of the most incredible theatrical moments on stage. When you just got these kids swinging into the audience on these like swing sets, and it makes you want to cry, but you don't know why. They went too big with it here. Like literally, they could have just translated that moment from the stage show into this movie on just a sad playground that turns into that fantasy world we set up with Bruce, and it would have worked better than what they did here. What did they do here, Andrew?
Oh, jeez, I'm trying to even remember what they did. Didn't they go to like is this when they went to an amusement park or something?
It's like
remember.
The idea of an amusement. The amusement park is the end. This is when they're kids like, I'm gonna ride my bike, but it's actually a motorcycle, and then we're gonna fly airplanes, and it's all green screen.
Oh my goodness. Yes, and they do like a bunch of like crappy looking special effects.
Yes.
And they have I remember that. And there was some that was like silly. There was some stuff that was like silly, but it made the whole thing, it didn't feel good.
Yeah. And the stage show had such a simple effect that is more like the idea of youth as a concept more than the specificity of I want to fly a rocket ship.
Yeah. I think you're getting at something that I'm kind of realizing now and it's that they didn't want to rely on just simple like musical stuff, like just having a good like dance number and just filming it like a dance number, and that's it. You know,
it felt like we have a budget, we got to use it.
Yeah, and in some places that's good because it gave us that mindset. Definitely gave us the fantasy sequences.
Yes.
Which those came out very good.
Yeah.
And I actually think maybe they work better in this than they did on the stage show.
The argument could be made, and I don't disagree.
But it also takes away from some other stuff where it's like, on stage they have the simple effect of just swings, and then here we have to do all this silly stuff where I feel like I almost lost the meaning of the song in all of it.
Yeah. Until the end where you have Miss Honey just sing sadly and like, oh, wouldn't it be so much cooler if like these kids are just on the playground and she walks by like they're playing on the swings and then she just walks by and has this verse? Like the simpler option was more poetic than this big, grandiose, colorful moment.
Yeah, I guess they took it to heart. Go big or go home, right?
I guess. On that note, how about we go into our favorite section, Wild Facts. So, Mara Wilson, who previously starred in the 1996 film adaptation of the novel directed by Danny DeVito, said, maybe if they make it into a movie, I could have a cameo, but that's for them to decide. Well, that was like a long time ago, like around 2014. And when it came time to make a movie, she said, I'm not going to fly all the way to England for one day of filming. And you know what?
Yeah,
Fair.
I feel like there was another way they could have done a cameo for that, but I guess that's fine.
Mm-hmm. So
I wouldn't fly for one day of filming either.
You sure about that? You sure about that one?
I'd fly for 2.
Songs from the musical not featured in this film are Pathetic, This Little Girl, Loud Telly, and large sections of the opening number Miracle. And they also wrote one new song, Still Holding Your Hand, which was especially for the film, and I kind of like that song.
I'm trying to remember what all of these. I know Telly is the one where they're singing about the television.
Yes.
They kind of replaced that by just having them talk about the television instead.
Yes.
Are these all songs from the parents?
2 are. Then you have 2 songs that was Miss Honey's song. One was Pathetic and one was This Little Girl. Pathetic is when she's like, knocking the door, Jenny, stuck in the door. And you can tell where they shot it. And then they cut it out and tried to stitch together.
They just didn't do it.
And then this little girl is a song about how impressed she is with Matilda because she tries to go to Matilda's parents' house to convince them that, hey, Matilda's great. And they're like, no, you're stupid. Get out of here.
I wonder if there's a like a director's cut that has all this extra songs and stuff in it that's just a better version of this.
100% it has to exist, right?
Release the Snyder cut or the wait, who?
Wirchel or something like that.
Release the Wirchel cut.
Let me make sure I got that name right. God, what is his name? Warchus. Warchus.
Release the Warchus cut.
So guess who the original choice to play Trunchbull before Emma Thompson stepped in, but after Ray Fiennes stepped in?
Well, I'm reading it right here, so I could pretend to guess.
It's
But
Anne Hathaway.
Was it Anne Hathaway?
Yes. What do you think she would have been like?
I don't think she would have been good.
I don't either. It would be weird to
I'm
have
thinking
like
of
this very
she was
British
in-
musical and an American in that role.
she was in Les Mis, right?
Yes.
I don't think it would have worked. I
She
can't
did-
picture her being this mean.
Have you seen The Witches yet?
I haven't.
Let me see if I can find it. It's another Roald Dahl adaptation that came out during the pandemic around 2020. And Anne Hathaway plays this really demonic witch character, and not as terrifying as the one from the 90s, but still pretty spoopy.
Is this about mice?
It kind of is. It's about witches that turn children into mice.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
So it would have been of this ilk.
Oh, wow, they gave her scary arms.
It might have worked, is all I'm saying.
Maybe. I'm glad they didn't go with it, I think.
Yes. Yeah, and that's basically all the wild facts. Except for one, this might interest you. Because this is a film that is a Netflix exclusive, it is currently banned in Russia along with all other Netflix exclusives as of March of 2022 due to the invasion of Ukraine.
That sucks for Russians, I don't know what to say.
That's about as wild as a fact as you get.
Yeah, I guess if you are a Russian fan of ours, you won't be able
you'll
to
never
watch
get
this.
to watch this. Or
Are
learn
we
what
banned in Russia?
Oh my, I can actually find that one out.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Also, get out of Ukraine. What the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, just quit messing in the U. All right, time to move on to our favorite section of the podcast, where we compare our opinions to those of the crazy folks on Letterboxd.com. It's time for previews.
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
Bree, do you want to play or do you want to host?
I want to play.
All right. Today, Bree and Andrew are going head to head, and I'm going to read them Letterboxd reviews without their rating, and they have to guess whether it's a 1-star review or a 5-star review. All right. Bree, you want to go first?
Yes, please.
Right. Where was Danny DeVito?
Oh, my question's 2. I'm going to give this a 1 star because he wasn't in it.
That was a 5-star.
Shit.
They should have given Danny DeVito a cameo. I think that would have been
They
fun.
should have.
They should have made him
Love
the
that
dad and narrated again. All right, Andrew.
Yep.
My mom's first time watching.
It came out like a week ago. I mean, I don't. 5 stars. 5 stars for that.
That is correct. All right, Bree.
Yes.
Miss Honey and Miss Trunchbull are the two ends of the lesbian spectrum.
Hang on, they're onto something here.
5 stars?
That's a 1 star.
Okay.
All right, Andrew. Trunchbull statue being toppled over by children. Oh, it's like Saddam Hussein.
That's a reference to make, I guess. I thought it was more the Confederate thing that was more recent, but I guess Saddam Hussein does make more sense though.
No, it's Captain Marvel from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness because it's the same
Just
girl.
shut
The
the
same
fuck
girl
up.
from the Doctor Strange movie.
I'm gonna say that's a 5 stars.
That is a 1 star, you fool.
Ooh, this guy, he loves Saddam Hussein. Does not like the slander going on here.
All right, Bree, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Me and my friends would have killed Matilda with hammers. I can tell you that much.
Oh my God.
Wow.
1 star for violence.
That is correct.
Jeez, what a thing to say. Yes, we would have killed her with a hammer.
Me and my friends. All right.
That's something
Andrew.
to admit online.
Someone find this guy. All right, are you ready, Andrew?
Yeah.
Why doesn't my autism give me telekinesis too?
You aren't trying hard enough. I don't know. 1 star?
That is a 5 star. Bree!
Yes.
Damn it.
Why is it so very orange?
Orange is a good color. 5-star.
That's a 1 star. It is a very orange movie. I agree with that review.
Is it? I haven't even.
It's a very garish and very mustard colored movie.
It almost makes sense, but at times it can be a little off-putting.
All right, Andrew. Not to be a hater, but Hortensia didn't slay as much in the new school uniform.
They do say not to be a hater, so I'm going to say 5 stars.
That is correct. Bree, I think this is the last question. So to tie the game,
Yes.
we're a little bit naughty.
Oh, this is Jess's review.
5 stars for naughty.
And that is correct. You guys have tied Bree views today. You have both become 2 equally good.
Our brains are equally rotted.
Speaking of folks with rotted brains, how about we talk about Patreon in this mid-show announcement? Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got politely promote our Patreon at you. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Patreon and the big changes we've got coming on.
Patreon is a cool place you can go if you want to give us money, but also get other content. I don't know all about the big changes we got coming on, Jess. Like, you throwing this at me?
Yes.
What do we have coming up?
Hey guys, if you've never joined our Patreon before, or if you have, you guys are want to get it there soon because new stuff's coming and you're going to really love it. We can't say it right now because me and Andrew haven't had our big meeting where we discuss it, but it's going to be pretty cool and you're not going to want to miss out on it. But the same old taste of Patreon will be the same. We're not going all new Coke on you, but we're going to add some new spices to it that I think is really going to be cool. But we will always have our monthly Patreon meetups, which it looks like for the foreseeable future this year will be the first Saturday of every month at 7 p.m., where you can join me and Andrew and some fun guests for these Patreon meetups with our other patrons. As well, you can always request episodes, and you can decide what we talk about on this show. As well, at a certain tier, you can even join us on this show. 3 people have done it so far. Will you be the 4th? I guess we'll have to find out. But today's current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Danielle Renix, Jessa Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Mina Maniri, Brent Black, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Mary Lou Choquette, John Van Alls, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Kyle Summers, Jen A.C., Scoot the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Allison Stuller, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Thespian, Ren Cullen, Rafael Martinez Salaz, Jessica T., Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Katie McDonough, Chris Marcotte, Mimu, Kiji Marie Anastasio, Layla, RJ Narija, Charlie B, Bjorn Hermans, Erica S, Toriana Frazier, Sammy the Most Lopez, Liana Morton, Kaylee Blazier, Birdman 69, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss, Sophiana Ali, The Omega Geek, Paige Pearson, Maddie Wargel, Elisa Erdman, Anna Loskotova, Cheska Vray, Sarah Den Blekier, Evan Bell, Zachary Torres, Gathering Party Before Venturing Forth, Rora Marasso, and Mara Forloian. I'm so sorry, Mara. Mara Forloiani. These folks give us the financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese.
You're really going to go with that as your final pronunciation of that?
Okay, do you have a pitch there, genius?
How about Mara Forlorn?
It looks
Forloin?
much like Forloin. Mara Forloin. That sounds like a Batman film. Oh, fuck me. All right. They give us money. We want to get back to the show now. Buy our merch. So we talked about the numbers, but how do you feel like the songs were incorporated? Specifically, Miracle, the opening number.
This one feels a bit long. I guess it's long in the stage show too.
No, they cut in like to shreds in this.
Yeah, it still feels long. I don't know. I think it's because I don't really like what they're doing with it, I guess.
Okay, so imagine me being like, oh, you're going to watch a little bit of the new Matilda movie. Get excited. And I sit down, I watch it, and they start with these babies talking gibberish at me overdubbed. That is literally the most vomit-inducing, pandering shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, that part was like, oh man, are we in for this? And thankfully they get rid of it very quickly. But why is it there at all?
I hate it. I hate it so much.
So I remember in the stage show, and I could be remembering incorrectly because I don't have the greatest memory, but don't they, it's kids singing about at like a birthday party or something about how they're a miracle.
That's almost exactly how it's staged. I want to see if I can find a proper staging of it. Oh god. Yeah, it's 100% a birthday party.
And then what is with the doctors? Is that a thing? I can't remember if that was a thing.
What do you mean with the doctor? I mean, he pulls out a microphone. It's still kind of like that. But yeah, Miracle is like they do some clever things with the set design and stuff.
All right.
Yeah. It's just there's much more. Like you get to hear about why they think Matilda's such a burden rather than just we don't want a baby.
Yeah, I think it's I don't like the fact that all of it is in the hospital. The staging with the babies kind of stinks.
Yeah. And the reveal of Matilda is underwhelming because we don't really get a sense of how horrible they are because we barely hang out with her parents.
Yeah, and Matilda is a baby.
She's not a baby. She's grown, but
all right. Not great. Not a good start.
No,
sadly.
It's both rushed, too long, and visually a nightmare. This is probably like the most unpleasant nightmare visual, especially when it's so blue tinted and cool looking in the stage show.
Yeah, when I can think of, I don't know. It's
But I like Naughty. I liked how they did Naughty. I think Alicia Weir did a very good job. I didn't like when Naughty. Sometimes you got a little bit naughty.
'Twas written in the stars before they even met that love and fate and a touch of stupidity would rob them of their hope of living happily. The endings are often a little bit gory. I wonder why they didn't just change their story. We're told we have to do what we're told, but surely sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty.
Okay, I like this song. I love that they repeat it like a couple times.
Yeah.
And I love the message of like, you shouldn't follow the rules all the time.
Yeah. Just because the adults told you to do something doesn't mean it's right.
Yep. Sometimes you have to break the rules to do the right thing.
Yeah. If I learned anything from any movie made in the 80s, that is the lesson I learned. I don't like... Okay, so when I saw this, there were still cables on her during the entire roof scene, which is kind of funny. But I just don't like that she like is this gymnast acrobat.
I get that they had to do something fun for the staging.
Her being on the roof is pretty fun enough. She doesn't need to do backflips on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I took that as kind of just like they wanted her to dance a little bit or do something. But
it's not the
I think
worst
overall, this is a much better song than the first one. And I think the movie doesn't ever fall back to how bad it was at the very beginning, I don't think, from this point on. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. I do want to talk about, because we talked about a lot of these. We talked about basically every other song before. We didn't talk about I'm Here, which I think I said in the episode with Brent was my favorite song in the show because I love a good story song. They do it very well here. It's my favorite part of the stage musical. It's my favorite part of the movie. And yeah, I agree with you. They kind of did this one a little better.
Don't cry. I'm here, little girl. Please don't cry. Dry your eyes and wipe away your tears. Little girl, forgive me. I didn't mean to desert you. Don't cry, little girl. Nothing can hurt you. Nothing to fear.
I think all the fantasy stuff just came out really well.
Yes.
And then what's really great is having this part and then later having it come back, but
Contextualized.
now it's no longer Matilda. It's Miss Honey is very, very good.
The great thing about watching this on Netflix is I catch a lot of lyrics I missed on the album and I'm able to recontextualize. And then I realized a little thing that Tim mentions leaning back on a lot, or at least twice. Hiding like lyrics or hidden messages in songs to reveal later in the song. So take the school song where you have the full verse and then you realize that it's supposed to line up with the alphabet at certain points in it. And you're like, oh, how did I not see that before? And here we set up I'm Here, that song. And then we have My House, which is Miss Honey's song. And they're secretly hiding the lyrics and melody to I'm Here in Miss Honey's song, so that when it comes in, what lines are going to line up with it, words are going to hit at the same place. And that's like brilliant musical theater storytelling that I didn't give its plot. It's because I didn't even know it was happening until I got them on screen together and was able to read the movie.
Yeah, I think that is characteristic of just very good writing, where you don't reveal it right, like I don't know. People talk about how Sweeney Todd does this, right? You don't reveal it right away story-wise, but you reveal it in the song almost.
Exactly that.
And someone who's listening closely will notice it. Or on the next time you listen through, once it is revealed, you will notice it as well.
And this isn't just like a Les Mis thing where you have like all these songs that kind of fit together and make One Day More. I'm talking about like music and lyrics in synchronicity, like synchrony maybe is the proper word, being referenced in other songs in a way where an Alan Menken and Howard Ashman couldn't do that because they're too isolated. The lyrics are so isolated from the music. Here, I think Tim mentioned just a master of both equally. So it's something you don't see outside of like Jason Robert Brown or Sondheim, really.
Yeah. So it's very cool to see it here.
Yes. How did you like My House, by the way?
Her house was kind of crappy. Like her house, like it's just a little shack in the woods. Like, what the heck? I wouldn't want to live there. It probably doesn't even have good heat retention. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
No, but the song is good, though. The song's good.
And Lashana Lynch as Miss Honey is very good. I just wish that she had more to do than just cower in a corner. Like, she comes off as much more subservient and less of a character in the movie than she did on stage or in the original movie. One last song and then we'll wrap it up. Quiet, Matilda's big solo where she discovers she has telekinesis through the power of anger and song.
And I'm sorry, I'm not quite explaining it right. There's noise becomes anger, and the anger is light, and it's burning inside me. Would usually fade, but it isn't today. And the heat and the shouting, and my heart is pounding, and my eyes are burning. Suddenly, everything is. Quiet.
I don't have a huge memory of it, I'll be honest.
So it's this song number where she's talking about she's getting yelled at by Trunchbull. It's real dark, it's real rainy, and then she visually is in her own brain in a calm space above the clouds in a hot air balloon is the high concept green screen visuals that they came up with here. And I once again, I wish it was just something more simple than that. I think it's just kind of ugly and looks like a PS2 cutscene for like what is just a powerful moment if she just kind of made the entire world disappear and was walking through like blackness. Like, what is that movie? Under the Skin, that ScarJo movie. I don't know. I have bad taste, maybe. This has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it's fair. I think Rotten Tomatoes isn't a great judge of anything because people just brigade it now.
That's fair. So, Andrew, what is your overall thoughts on the Matilda movie and your cheese rating?
I think overall it's pretty good. I don't think it's a replacement for seeing the stage show.
No.
But I think that if you have Netflix, you already have access to it, and you probably already watched it anyways, let's be real. But you should if you haven't, because it's fun. As far as a cheese rating goes, this is beyond British, so I feel like I have to give it some sort of British cheese. So I'm thinking Wensleydale, just because whenever I think of British, I think of that one show they do. What is that
Wallace
show
and
where he
Gromit?
says Wallace and Gromit, and I always think of him saying Wensleydale. So
Wensleydale.
So I'm gonna give it that.
All right. Bree, what did you think of our discussion and your cheese rating on that?
I loved your discussion. You guys were positive. You know, you didn't love everything about it, but you were positive. Okay. We love to see it here. I'll watch it eventually. You know me.
Yeah.
But I did like the original as a kid growing up. That was a fun one to watch. But I can only give it a very orange cheddar cheese because it sounds like it is a very orangey yellow movie.
Yeah, yep, you're not wrong. I think that's just about right. So I'm of two minds on this movie because it does accurately depict the musical. A lot of the big heavy moments still hit. It's got a lot of visual finesse to it. But I just didn't love it, and I really wanted to love it. I was more disappointed than I expected to be in this, even though my expectations were down under dinosaur bones. Yeah, so the only cheese I'm giving this is something from cravemonkey.com called Naughty Cheese Sauce, because sometimes you gotta be a little bit naughty.
That makes sense.
You know who else loves it?
Our wonderful patrons.
You got that fucking right. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, at Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at the moment at Cheesy Musicals. We're on Patreon, Instagram, and Tumblr at Musicals with Cheese. YouTube page, Musicals with Cheese. We have a Patreon. Oh, no, we don't. We're getting some new fun things over there on Patreon. You're going to want to check them out. But me and Andrew have some plans up our sleeves. Our email is musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our keeper of the cheese is Julian, and don't enjoy this ASMR for you. La, la, la. All right. This show is produced by the incredible, the wonderful, I love you so much, Brianna Jones. Yay. Our theme songs were created by Robin Nash of IOU Music UK. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform. All right. Is there anything else we have left to say?
Yeah. Don't
right.
go to school where Olympic athletes are in charge, you know?
Yeah, don't go to school with the gym teacher. On that note, we'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese. We can SPL how we like. If enough of us are wrong, wrong is right. Even the word NORTY, because it's a little bit naughty.